the lines? Nice? Excellent. Let me start with my name, Joel Okomoli. My role in Eyes of Kenya, Treasurer. You could also call me the Financial Officer. Eyes of Kenya has a very loose structure, very simple. Activities are mostly driven by the chapter executive. The current executive has the 3 members. Before we were 4 members, myself and Martin, the late Martin. Some of you may have heard about him, or maybe were here during the preparations for his burial. 3 of us are left. Antony is the secretary. We call him Secretary General. And we have Otieno, who is the vice chair and now acting president. Other than that, I do other things elsewhere. I work for the Ministry of Health within NASCOP as a data person. I also support IBC on the data consultants. I think on the issue of age, I don't know. But I would say that life begins at. So for most of you, you haven't started. Understand? You are still rehearsing. You are in that place we call conception or what? When you are conceived, so your minds are still boiling. So the moment you hit 40, now you start doing that good thing that is called living. I say that deliberately because the opportunities you have. One time I was in the university, like some of you, I have met, I think, 2 or 3 students already. And if I were to guess your age, you probably be 19, 20, 21, right? I came out of the university at 22. Then I was a very young fellow. But I must say that one thing I didn't have is an opportunity like this. I learned word perfect in the university. Word perfect, you know, typing. And then computers were really strange and it was very special. And if you're able to punch the keyboard, then you are one of very few people in the world. But you know now that is nothing, right? Great. So I think your opportunity to be here has been facilitated by Digital Grassroots, for whom I'm very grateful. For all also who have helped us. Maybe a clap for those as well. All right. We must appreciate NILAB. We have NILAB members within. You must have known them already. Do not leave this place before you know them, because I heard somebody talking about accelerators. Robert is sitting somewhere there, and is it Fred? Robert and somebody else at the back side. Reach out to them. See what else is happening in this space, because we do not own this room. It's owned by NILAB, and NILAB is hosting so many other organizations that could be doing something that you are interested in. I think that's my 3 minutes of introduction. The rest you find, you know, as we go along. Who has gotten more than 3 mobile phone numbers? New ones. 1, 2, 3. The first 3 hands. I have that and that and that. So you get to carry an extra calendar home. I think Joy will make sure you get a calendar each. And yes. Rebecca. And I think I know Rebecca already. And somebody else that side. You get a spare calendar, right? So you can hang one in your cube and then a spare one for your friends. So this open session, I called it your session because this is where we now converse. We try to process what has gone into our minds from morning, and now we see how to harmonize or way forward, so to say. Next slide. So there are a few things, there are a few things that are already happening. There is my G7, which is a hashtag that you need to include if you are tweeting anything concerning this forum. Also tweet my G7 because there is a special assembly going on that is touching on issues around cybersecurity. This meeting is going down in Geneva, Switzerland, and if you tweet, then you get more information coming back to your handle, and you'll be able to learn more about this particular event. We also have Africa Internet Summit, AIS, that happened in Dakar, Senegal. I think it must be ending already. So that's also you can tweet, and whatever comes back, you know, when you tweet, somebody else will retweet and you'll be able to get information. Or you just tweet and disappear. How do we use Twitter, by the way? We use it to search information, right? And if you want to know what else is happening, you include their handle, they will tweet back, or somebody else will retweet, and you'll be able to pick up contacts. You'll be able to get new people to follow, new organizations to follow, and so on. You don't just follow your friends, because your friends, you already can speak to them, right? So it's those you cannot reach that you reach out through your handle. And when you tag someone, you tag an organization, that organization will tag you back, plus a few other organizations that are supporting. So we have the Internet of Things, which has also been mentioned here, and I think speakers have already talked about it. The Internet of Things. Down in this discussion, we'll see then what is this? What effect does it have on our lives? Does it impact you, impact on you as a person? Does it matter? And so on. So those are some of the things that are going on, and I would add that we continue to fit as we go along. Our first stop is internet governance, and I know there are 2 or 3 questions around this area, and I will just say that being a user on this platform and developing content for this platform does not make you quite aware of the internet governance. Governance is about the entire ecosystem, what we call the internet. What makes this forum possible? What makes it available? What makes you have access to this internet? So I'll put some issues on the sidebar, and you can see there are issues of ownership. We have issues of trust. You know, if I join Facebook, what assurance do I have that my data will be used in confidence? Yeah. What assurances do I have that I will not be abused by someone else who has met me from elsewhere? What guarantees do we have that the children, some of the people you are chatting with are not children who are below 18? Are there some control measures and so on? Then we have the technologies. Technologies available, which are evolving daily on a daily basis. We have different forums that we have mentioned here. I think ICANN has been mentioned. We also have ITF. You know, the task forces that support the technologies, that support the development of this platform, this holding area, so to say, to the extent that you can come on board, prepare your content, and upload. Let me give an example of YouTube. You know, I don't own YouTube. You don't. But you're able to put something on YouTube today, right? Are you able to do that? So these are the issues, you know, because the environment has allowed somebody who thought about YouTube to actualize the idea, run on the platform, and host other users. So daily, that is what is happening in the world. That is how internet is evolving. And then there are issues of accessibility. It is no use if nobody is able to access what you have put out. If you put in some content, let's say on Facebook, and then quickly, within an hour, you have 50 of your friends commenting, or supporting, or opposing, or challenging, generally some kind of interaction. You find that you come back to Facebook more and more often, right? Depending on what you go and do there. I'm mentioning applications on a random basis so that I have no bias towards anyone in particular. I hope you understand. Great. So then I want to just take a minute and invite Antony to just mention something about the IETF, the Engineering Task Force. What does it do? How is it useful to us? We will not ask him any questions, but he will take about 2 minutes And while he's preparing to come, I will quickly mention that, in the upcoming slides, we shall go into the details of some of these, like issues of trust. We'll discuss them a little later again. But you also have a booklet which is supposed to be a takeaway. I know it is neatly tucked in your bag. Do you have them? The global report, do you have it? Please bring it out and look at the summary page. I think it's on page 4. Bring it out somewhere. It is yours. You can make notes on it. It's not something that you need to keep very clean. If you need a copy for your library or for your school, you can always get in touch with Antony and we'll give you an extra copy. Antony, 2 minutes.
My name is Antony Otieno. I'm the chapter secretary. I'd like to talk about internet technical communities. Internet technical communities are communities that are organizations, institutions, and individuals that focuses on how to build the internet. And what we usually focus on basically technical infrastructure, and of late we have also integrated the sense of internet governance, as Joel mentioned. Now, there's particular institutions within internet technical communities. And when I say internet technical communities, I refer to institutions such as ISOC, ICANN, IETF, so those form the internet technical communities. And beyond that, we also have individual practitioners who are research practitioners or students who form who also participate in the internet development. Now, about IETF, IETF is an institution within ISOC that focuses on research activities for internet development. And IETF focuses on short-term research activities. And it's also backed by another institution called IRTF. IETF stands for Internet Engineering Task Force, and usually focuses on short-term research activities about internet. Example, those issues that affect IP addresses. If you want to participate in IETF IP addresses activities, you can get in touch with me. Now, in the long-term research activities, there's an institution called IRTF, which stands for Internet Research Task Force. And this one focuses on long-term research activities. For example, if you're a student who wants to participate on internet research activities, internet infrastructure development, then you can participate in the internet, all these two institutions on how to focus on how to develop the internet. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Antony. Please clap for him. So it's the IETF, just as it were. You can note it down somewhere, Google on that. And if you are a programmer, if you are developing apps, you might want to find out what else is happening within IETF. And I think as Antony has said, there is so much. There's room for new developers. There's room for collaboration, whether you're coming in as an individual or as an organization. So that's where I want to leave. The next slide. Let's go.
Hello. Are there any fellowships for maybe to attend in this room?
Definitely, there are.
One that is taking place on July, so you can apply for the current IETF fellowship. All you need just to do is, if you go to the ISOC website, you'll find an expression of interest call for expression of interest. If you want to participate in IETF, I think I don't know where it will take place, but the last one took place in London.
Good enough? Is it useful? You apply as a new fellow. There are two areas. There's one area for returning fellows, and there's one for new fellows. And for you to qualify, it's very competitive. You have to demonstrate consistent work in that area. And I'm sure many of you are doing that. I'll take us to the next slide. Don't worry, there is a point where we all have to talk, and I know that you are willing to talk. Human rights. Offline, I think we are aware of all that is happening, what governments are doing. You know, when you talk of human rights, immediately you think of government, right? But do we think of ourselves as possible perpetrators of injustices? Do we respect space for other people? Do we respect the rights of children? As individuals, do we do that? Well, our concern is online as it is. And we are thinking about access to the internet. Is it taken away sometimes? Do we have these rights taken away from us? In some cases, it happens, and I think you've heard of many countries. The most recent was Sri Lanka, but you heard of Cameroon, where we have internet shutdown. Now, if your business is dependent on the internet, how are you going to operate? Is an issue. Somebody will be driving you out of business, right? If you are doing your coursework and suddenly in your region, probably the mask is blown off and you are no longer able to access the internet, what happens? You are distracted, your work is delayed, or probably you have to travel. How about our freedom of expression? If you write something about Joel today on Facebook or wherever, and then tomorrow I bring you to court for defamation, what will happen? Will it kill the spirit? Will it promote? Will it inspire people to write their blogs? These are matters that concern us as young people. And somebody mentioned policy here. That is why when you hear there is policy development going on, or there is workshop for validation, policy validation, or sometimes presentation of a draft paper on one policy or the other, it is good to come out and attend. Because normally you'll find these forums are addressing very specific areas of access or rights issues. And so I think if you don't come out, then you wouldn't know whether there's any policy so far. In Kenya, somebody mentioned 2013, but 2016 is an act that is hanging somewhere between the parliamentary committees and the plenary. And so there is work that is going on. And it is good for us to know what is going on so that we can influence the direction it is taking. Are we together? So we are saying that in Kenya, and you saw in advance before the elections, the Minister for ICT came out clearly and said the internet will never be shut down in Kenya. It will not happen in this election. It will not happen in any election. Those are the kind of precedents we want. Those are the things that give us energy. And knowing that the Minister for ICT, you know Joe very well, he was in Google before and has been in many organizations before he got there. One time he was young like you, and he suffered the thing we are all suffering. So he will stand and say, this should not happen, it will not happen. And that is what allows the internet to grow. Are we together? So we must not only be users, we must be advocates. And if you want to be a good advocate, you must read. You must know what other people are doing so you can add your voice to it. Okay. The issue of, I will stop at this slide and take 2 comments, but I will pose a question before that. The issue of users' interests. So I've mentioned some organizations already, and we know what has been happening about WhatsApp going into Facebook or Facebook going into WhatsApp. I don't know whether they are marrying or they are becoming siblings or something like that. You know what I'm talking about. So you must be on either of those with enough information. All of you know that WhatsApp must have your number. Not so. They must have your number. They must have your name and probably your location, depending on how you have set your phone. So then what happens if, you know, government, for instance, KRA is looking for those who are working and they're not paying taxes? Good question, right? I want somebody to explain how will KRA be able to trace you, depending on whether you're on WhatsApp or Facebook. How will KRA be able to trace you as an identity, as somebody, as a person? That is something I would like to hear from the on the mic, please, from the crowd. Are they able to do it or they are not able? If they are not able, give us your story in just 30 seconds. Anyone? Right. Thank you for volunteering.
I'm just thinking, Carrie can approach WhatsApp, Carrie can approach WhatsApp, and then nowadays everyone is in groups. So you'll find like after this, maybe a WhatsApp group can be formed for people who are here. So you'll find that maybe in your workplace, there's a group for communicating things for you in real life. So Carrie can ask WhatsApp for the information of work groups in WhatsApp.
All right.
Yes, and then from there they can place those numbers, and I don't know, in some weird kind of way they can still trace.
They can trace you,
Yes,
and they can know whether you are taxpayer or
yes,
not.
they know.
Any other view? Just one more. Yes, I'll pass the mic. Thank you.
Thank you. So my thought is that WhatsApp and Facebook should not share my details with KRA because of the privacy policies that they have. I mean, KRA should have its own structure of identifying my details, and that's why when you are signing up for KRA, usually fill in your personal data and email. So, and this is what has been existing when Mark appeared before the Senate committee, like being asked, why is it that you're allowing apps to share people's data? So the issue of the privacy policy, and I believe that a corporate should not use social media to access people's data.
All right. Thank you. You have seen the two views, right? She says, you know, they can do this, they can ask, they can find. And he says, yeah, they can find, but they shouldn't. All right? But what do we do in social media? When I go there and I have a new company, where is Shem? Shem is running a small startup in town. And he says, Shem, my name is Shem, double XXX. I will not say his surname, but you can allow me to say your surname, right? You don't mind. Shem Osomo. And then you say, director for this company, company ABC, and other things that you are doing and all that. And somebody from KRA will be able to see that you are director. This is information you have given willingly, right? Yeah. And this company, all KRA needs to do is to go and check who registers companies? Who registers companies? Registrar, right? You know those things. So they will just go to the registrar and they will find your name there. You are the director and your phone number will be here and your ID number will be there, right? And they will check whether you're paying any taxes. And they will check even if your company has a PIN. If it doesn't have a PIN, then they will wait for you to come and ask for clearance because now you can't get a tender. I'm responding to your part, yeah? You are sorted and you agree they have access, right? I'm responding to him because that is where you can't say no. You say no as a person, but because you are playing on the field, there are rules on that field, yeah? And so you disclose the information. So, and I'm saying, what is the source? The social forums. You can see how things work backwards, yeah? So that way, his company will be netted, he himself will be netted, and all the people who are working with him will be found. If they are paying, good. If they are not paying any taxes, queries, or you get demand letters. That is an instance of personal data spiraling into your professional life and even into your business and enterprises. This, however, what we are saying as an internet society and the community that is working on the internet, saying this should not kill your business. Rather, it should regularize your business. It's a good thing to pay taxes, right? Right. Only a few are shaking their heads. It's a good thing to pay taxes. And so we are saying as a community that we pay our taxes, we operate legally. That is the only way you'll be at peace in your social forums. That is the message. If you want peace and if you want that freedom that we are advocating for, if you want that privacy that we are advocating for, then you have to play ball. And play ball means playing it legally. Okay. So I'll drift a bit away from that and go into the issue of Western versus South, or we say Northern versus South. In other words, the developed and the less developed. We have a serious divide, right? Digital divide. What are we doing? And this is an issue that we have had to include, and it is in that report. If you read, they have dedicated a substantial coverage on the digital issue of digital divide and what governments have been trying to do, and the other small organizations, Internet Society included. We have the UN, we have WSIS Forum, that is all discussing ways of making the reducing this digital divide. And I think the good thing for us is to start by understanding this divide. And then we separate the factors. And that's why you see my sidebar. We have infrastructure. Infrastructure is mentioned there. Who can give us the simplest form of infrastructure? Just shout here in this room. Mention, just one item. Good. Any other? Something that is bigger than the modem that you have in your hands now? Smartphone. You see, if you come here with Mulika Muizi, will you be able to enjoy the Wi-Fi? You're not technology ready, right? So what do? I get technology ready. So you get your smartphone. But then we are saying that is only the first step. We are also mentioning skills transfer. Sorry. Okay. I'm monitoring this camera, but I don't need to obstruct you. Yeah. The other step is the skills transfer. Yeah. Because 1 million people in Kenya now have smartphones, but 1 million people don't have businesses that are running through their phones. Do they? No. We could be having less than 500,000, less than 100,000 who are using their phones for business. So we see that as the biggest gap. Even if we roll out a free internet in the whole of this country, including Tanzania, and all these that are coming together now to create one Africa, you know, shall we be able to exploit the potential? These over 100 and these billions of people that are in Africa, will they be able to use this internet profitably? It's still a big question, right? So we see this, and as I'm discussing skills, I will ask our colleague Wilson to prepare to just give us 2 minutes on the issues of access for people with a disability, because we feel this is a big gap, and more than 15% in Kenya, more than 15% of our population are people living with various kinds of disability. When I was in college, my friends used to chide me. You know, they would snatch my specs and say, go. So, you know, I would open my eyes very wide, because that way I would see a little bit. Then they would be saying, Mr. Blind Man, come follow us, you know, sort of joke. But there are those disabilities that we see. For me, I feel the most serious are the ones that we are living with and we do not know. And I think the greatest is the inability to use your mind. You have it packed there nicely. We put a lot of braids and hair and a lot of things and cover. Make sure you're not using your brain. You know, you want to use the physical appearance, you don't want to use the brain. Am I talking to someone? I don't want to start preaching. What I'm saying is skills transfer. Every other day, you must acquire a new skill. Look at what is happening somewhere. Grab it. And it's not about very specialized skills. There are things that we love doing. I have friends who like going around, and when they see an open house, they go there and check how much is it going for. They have a house, they have a room somewhere, but they will keep checking around. You know, it's a hobby. But can you make some money out of that? Yes, you can. Because if you are living in the nearest estate is probably this one behind. What do we call it? James, not James Bishuru. Woodley. I think there are people from Woodley here. Woodley is just across, yeah. This Ngong Road on the left side. So the houses have numbers. You pass there, you realize the house is vacant. 3 bedroom going for 30,000. servant photo available. Quickly you post it, get in touch. Anybody in need of a house, this house number is available on this road. Sometimes you can block out. With my head, I'll just say the number and everything. So then I lose the deal, yeah? If they come through me, I make some money. Nobody is saying anything. Okay. Let me put it the other way around because maybe I'm speaking too fast. There are two ways you can go about that, yeah? Have we agreed first on the hobby? Does it exist? When you ladies are working, you walk around town and sometimes you see nice things, right? Which you could buy, but you don't need it for yourself. Buy it and store it somewhere and post it online. Somebody will buy it from you at a higher price. Are we talking? Exactly. So what I'm saying is you can move to the person and say, look, I'll bring you a tenant here, or I'll send a tenant directly to you. And if the tenant comes and they pay the 30,000, the first month's rent is mine. Okay? Definitely not 100%, maybe 50%. I know you're calculating 30,000. Yeah, but that works. That works. I mean, this house has been vacant for the last 2 months. You post it online, and the next day somebody is calling you, or somebody is calling the landlord to ask for that house. And you make sure they mention you as a reference point. So the house is occupied, rent of 60,000 is paid, deposit plus 1 month rent. What will stop that person from giving you 15,000 cash? What will stop them? Nothing. If you do that twice or thrice in a month, you don't need to study nuclear science to be rich. No, you'll be fine the way you are. I want to welcome Wilson. Take 2 minutes. I know that we are really running with time. Clap for Wilson as he comes up. And there is a step here. Go on, nice. And you have to come and help me back, yeah?
Hi everyone. My name is Wilson Masharia. As I said, I'm in the Kenya School of Law, Karen. I am a youth living with a disability, visual impairment, in other terms, blind. And I tell people I refuse to see. I'm supposed to talk about the digital gap. However, today I have received a couple of questions from people. And the main one was how I was using my laptop while seated there. And I'm sure there's one or two of you who thought that probably because I had an earpiece on, I was listening to music, right? Well, I wasn't listening to music. I was using a software called JAWS, which can actually, it's a screen reader which can read anything that is displayed on the computer. First of, I would want to tell you what a disability is, because it's an evolving concept which has changed with time. And a couple of you might have noticed that right now there's a major interest in inclusion, right? A disability, perhaps I could ask Joel, try describe or define a disability next.
Of course. For me, I would say is a lack of ability to use one sense or the other. Sense or organ. One organ or the other. 100% functionality. Lack of 100% functionality.
Already wrong. Okay. Let me just respond that to the interest of time. It is an impairment. Whether physical, sensory, intellectual, or mental, which is in interaction with other barriers, the societal barriers, participation in the society. What I'm trying to say is when you see someone who has a disability, probably they are deaf, using sign language, or they are visually impaired, or they are using a wheelchair, the real barrier is not there, as he says, organ failure, or he has some senses which are not working well. The real barrier is those stairs which someone who has a wheelchair cannot use, or that product or that website which someone who is visually impaired or someone who is deaf cannot access. So in short, that is saying that this venue which is not accessible, or this website which is not accessible, or this application which is not accessible has a disability. Are we together? So that one brings me to something called inclusive design, or it's an inclusive design, or what is it? Universal design. It's a concept that was introduced by a certain legislation, international. You'll have to understand me because I'm a lawyer and I have to take you to a lot of these policies. It's called the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, the most developed, or the most recent, that is, the one that has brought out disability as it's supposed to be. And inclusive or universal design means that anything you create, anything you design from the point of inception ought to be inclusive, or it should be in a design that can be used by anyone, regardless of their background or regardless of their disabilities or abilities. For instance, the laptop I was using, or for instance, the phone I'm using here, is you can see it's an Apple phone. Um, it is a normal phone. It's a kawaida phone. Anyone else who is using such a phone, it's a kawaida phone. The only difference is it has something else, an accessibility feature that can help me use it. I do not need to get this phone, then take it for other adjustments there for it to be usable by me. And the reason why I'm saying this is because as the youth, we are supposed to be coming up with new innovations, new products, right? I would want us to, the best thing to do right now is having it accessible from the point of inception. And I was mentioning to a few of us here that people view matters disability in every sphere, including technology, as a CSR product or a CSR program. Whereas there are other companies out there which are looking at them as, persons with disabilities being a ready market outside there. Go to products, companies like Microsoft, companies like Google. I don't have affiliation with them, but I think I can mention, and Apple as well. Anything that they provide in the society, anything that release has to be accessible. You see in your computers, there's something called narrator. I'm sure most of you, or some of you might have activated it and wondered why is my computer talking to me, or Cortana. Sometimes you activate a magnifier unknowingly, or you see if you're using the latest Microsoft Word, you see accessibility checker. That is something that has been put there for you to use, that if you share anything that you make with that computer is accessible to everyone, regardless of their disabilities or abilities. If I start talking about this, it will probably take me very long. So yesterday, I was following a conference. It's called CCVIP. Also, it was shared on the inclusive, on the special needs chapter of Internet Society. And CCVIP means Computer Center for Visually Impaired Persons. We call ourselves the VIPs. That one is something that started in 1996 in the US. However, I don't think in Kenya there's something like, or anything on technology of persons with disabilities. The main reason, as I wind up, why we should have this inclusive technology is, and I don't mean to scare you, disability is an open club. The membership of this club is open. Any one of you, it is just 1 second away, right? It is just 1 second away. It could be because of an accident, or something happens to you, or a disease even. Would you want the society or anything you want to be accessible to you at that point? I'd want you to hear you. I'd want to hear you say yes or no. Will you want to continue using your phone if you lose any organ, or any sense in your body? Will you want to continue participating in the society? Exactly. So how about you make it possible for that person who already has a disability to have it accessible? And it's not difficult. Some of us are here, we can advise. Share me something with me, I'm going to tell you whether it's accessible. At least you should do it and you can still afford me right now. But as I have mentioned that, I didn't mean to scare you. In fact, I wouldn't want any one of you to acquire any disability. We have a couple of privileges. More are yet to come now that we are having such forums, and hatutaki complain.
Wow, I think that was a nice experience, right? It's like a journey of 500 kilometers. Is that true? Yeah, we are all potentially on that route. And thanks, Wilson, for putting things in perspective. I console myself in understanding that even you guys are not very sure. Severe. If you're also going to define this, you would probably touch on one thing or the other. But I'm glad we are agreed on one thing: accessibility for people who have any of those impairments. Wakubaliana? Yeah. So I think on this particular slide, it will take us ages to do justice to issues of the digital divide. But I think one step at a time we'll get there. We'll be able to reduce the gap. And it begins with me and you, right? Yeah, we do it. We do it for our brothers. We do it for our sisters. We do it for our, I like saying our children, but I'm reminded, quickly reminded that there are very few of us here with children. So, but it is true. That is the way to go. If we are doing it for our parents, you know, sometimes you just lose patience. Who has ever taught their parents how to use the M-Pesa? You have. I think we'll give you a minute to just explain to us how frustrating it was. You know, towards the end, when you finish what you are typing. But as she prepares to come, you know, it is a whole new world because you are not there. You are not there all the time. And you have other things that you need to do, like making money, not training your mom. You say, Mom, this thing works. You say, no, it is not working. She'll even end up sending money to the wrong person for some reason, you know, either because they misplaced the numbers. You say it is probably 151 and they end up sending it to 511, something like that. So we'll have the pleasure of knowing your name, Madam. You want to share with us your experience? That you can do in 10 seconds, right? Right. Oh, there's an additional mic. If you don't want to come up here, we have an additional mic, please. It's stuck somewhere. You can use this as that one is coming.
Oh, I'd like to share. So I teach my mom often on how to use a laptop and also how to use Facebook and WhatsApp. And it's very difficult because sometimes, yes, she's literate, but she doesn't understand it. I don't know how, because you can teach her this. You have to you have to use even your mother tongue to explain what it really means for her to understand it.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. You can teach her, but never get tired.
And then they forget very fast, right? Yes. Exactly. I think it is something we have all gone through, and it's an interesting experience, and it's nice, you know, because these are the same people who are teaching you how to walk, you know, when you are very young, and spanking you when you put the plate in the wrong place and all that. Yeah. Now you have something to teach them, and I'm very happy. Sometimes when I'm in the village, I ride a motorcycle. How many of us can ride motorcycle? Excellent. So, you know, when you are young, maybe your parent or your uncle puts you at the back, yeah, and they zoom off with this thing. Now, when you are giving them a ride, they keep telling you, slow, that one, this a corner and all this, yeah, because they still feel they need to guide you. But you know, you are the expert now, and they are the person in charge. So there is that feeling, and sometimes it is frustrating, but it's the way to go. The internet economy. This is the in thing. Nairobi is a buzz with a lot of activities. I've heard people talking of startups, and sometimes you wonder, what is a startup? What can I do as a student? There are people who are not even in the university, and they're already running businesses. They are running businesses on the internet. So, on my sidebar, you'll see opportunities. We have already highlighted some of the opportunities. Since I came to the podium, I think I've mentioned several areas where we can do well. as persons. And you don't need to invest a lot of time. You just need to use your brain a little bit and also align it to the things that you like to do, your hobbies. If you are a football person, you just make the habit of updating. You'll find some people following you because they do not know the timing. When if you are an Arsenal fan, say hey. If you are Man U, say ahem. I think it's like 50-50. Okay. So there is no winner in this case. And I think it's because of the ladies. Maybe they don't do watch football. I can see, is it Philip? Philip must be Man U. You have not smiled since morning, but you have smiled now. So what is the reason? Is it because you are Arsenal or Man U or which one? Or Chelsea? Arsenal. Okay, we share a team. Thank you for that. So anyhow, what we are saying is some people need information, but they are too busy to go and look for it, right? So if you put yourself in a habit of sharing, you specialize on a specific type of information, you'll find people following you or even calling you for this particular information. Because you are either a football fan or you are always, there are these guys who do bets. I never advocate for bets. But guys who bet know which game is playing, which game is on today, which one is on tomorrow, which one are you likely to make money, which one are you likely to lose. Are we together? And so, but that is just one line. We're saying that you find some people, especially popular stars in the Western world, and I think that is how Mark started. You know, just connecting people. And then he thought, why not develop an app where these people will meet automatically? They will connect automatically. It is the way to go. So, you know, there is an opportunity, walk up to it, meet it, and you will find a lot of space for innovation, and you'll be able to bridge a certain gap. I want to talk about cryptocurrencies. I'm not an expert, but I believe you have been following issues around digital money, right? Before, we have had a lot of discussions, and during our Africa Internet Summit last year, there were discussions around blockchain. And how these cryptocurrencies work is a normal ledger business. It's a normal banking affair. The way you operate your bank account, you earn money today, you go and pay in your account so that you can withdraw it tomorrow. And every time the transaction is reflected, whether it is a plus or a minus. Are we together? So then what then brings in cryptocurrencies? Something that is called token. I have a 10,000 now that I want to spend in a way in the future. And so what happens? I go out to the bank and deposit this, and they give me 1,000 bits, which I can use. So if I go and purchase something, I pay with my bits. That's it. It's that simple. The question is it legal? Either way, the time for cryptocurrencies is here with us. You've heard of a bank that is opening soon in Nairobi. If you watch business news, the governor, central bank governor himself, has advised Kenyans against investing in this sector. For the simple reason that it is unsecured. The framework does not exist. Not because this kind of business is useless or because you cannot transact with it, but because it is riding on unsafe territory. If I deposit my 10,000 there and I get 1,000 bits, you know my my phone number. You can quickly go into my phone and get my PIN, right? Somehow it is possible. The moment you do this, there's nothing that will stop you from purchasing a commodity anywhere and use my own bits to pay. The challenge with M-Pesa now is that everything is tied to an IP address, to a phone, to something, to some other detail, which is controlled by some other regulator. So what I'm saying is, as soon as there's somebody in town who is able to exercise a similar level of control, then cryptocurrencies will be here. In the Western world, it's already happening, and people are doing it to the extent that you don't need to carry your credit card. People are finding that thing clumsy. Why don't you have something that is just in the cloud? Yeah. Why don't you throw your money into the cloud and spend it when you want to spend it? Are we together? So it's an issue of why not instead of why. And I'll say the why not is about the unsafe framework. We don't have a proper playground. Even with your M-Pesa now, are we very safe with M-Pesa? I think 3 or 4 or 5 of us, or even maybe all of us, have gotten messages to say you have won 100,000 in this lotto or some other promotion, haven't we? Yes, and they say don't pay any money. We'll send you for free. Call this number. But as you call the number and as you converse, eventually it gets to what point where you have to send something. Simple. Something they call either retainer or this or that or unlock or so on. So we are saying that Bitcoins are there. They are there, in other words. In China, you can trade in Bitcoins. And our own equivalent of Bitcoins for now would be probably M-Pesa. Because what you have, that message that says balance, is it real money? It is just an indicator that this is your balance. Yeah. If Safaricom servers collapse today and everything in that M-Pesa was wiped out, would you have any money? The only money left with you would be what is in the bank, right? And so the banks have already prepared for these shocks. You saw when some banks went under. If you had 100,000 in that bank, and or if you had 1,000,000 in that bank, we are all the same. Senior, when it goes down, it goes down. But no, we are not the same. Because apart from control, an entity, an organization has taken responsibility to assure you of your money. That as the bank goes down, your deposits are protected. And I think that is what we need for this other currency. It's a distributed ledger technology. It is very simple technology. We can agree here as a class or as a group that this is how we are going to trade, and we go ahead and trade with it. But then, real trade encompasses the outside world. Those who are within and those who are outside. In other words, when you open a bank, you do not say it will only be for these members. It will be for the public, right? That's the only time you make real money. While it is for local members, you don't make your money. I admire Wilson. I think I should have done law. You know, the thing with the lawyers is that they speak slowly. And the people understand very well. So, but now me, I'm crashing at maybe 120 kilometers, and I'm not sure whether people are following. It's one way to find out. And it is actually the next slide. And it's a simple question. The issues of security, we have already alluded to it. To whom does this responsibility belong? And I started my career as a teacher. So we'll do a simple exercise. The first is for you to rise to your feet. The first is for you to rise to your feet. I'm sure you can do that. I know you are writing and all that, but some of us have already started praying. So let me interrupt your prayers a little bit. And I want all the gentlemen in the room to say ahem. Ahem. You guys are very weak. Eh? When you're growing up, we used to have sound. You guys are weaker than the older people. Eh? And then I say some people in this room are old. Yeah? And the gentlemen will say ahem. And the ladies say hi. Excellent. I think the ladies are very powerful. So then we are going to sing some small song. To whom does it belong? And I think it is the ladies who will say, to whom does it belong? Yeah? Can we say that? To whom does it belong?
To whom does it belong?
Make it a little musical. To whom does it belong?
To whom does it belong?
Make it musical, with a bit of swag. To whom does it belong?
To whom does it belong?
Again? So we shall roll and roll and roll. Okay. Let's try. We'll only roll twice for a trial. Here we go. To whom does it belong? To whom does it belong? To whom? Excellent. We have the tune. And then you will say, to whom to? To whom to? To whom to? To whom to? Are we there? Can we try? The ladies hum. Quiet. The men, to whom to? To whom to? To whom to? To whom to? I'm only hearing my voice. Can we try? Gentlemen, we go. 1, 2. No. You're not looking. Look at my arm. That is the face, yeah? You go. And the left will go.
To whom does it belong? To whom does it belong?
Excellent. This is a high square. Please look at the conductor. I'm the one conducting here. Thank you very much. Are we ready? Get some space. Kick your feet a bit so the blood can flow. 1, 2, 3. We go.
To whom does it belong? 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 To whom does it belong?
To whom does it belong? To whom does it belong? To whom does it belong? To whom does it belong? To whom does it belong?
Thank you very much. Clap for yourselves. So I'm sure some of us never sang in the choir, but at least you get to sing one. If Jesus comes back this minute, or prophet himself, we are all saved, right? If they will consider this as a religious song, anyway. So collaborative approach. I had in mind a gentleman. There's a gentleman called Peter Olo, and another one called Mr. Otieno, who works for the Citibank, that promised to join us sometime in the afternoon. They haven't come, and they were going to give us snippets of protocols. But luckily, we have had Antony on the floor, and he has mentioned something about ITF. We all understand something about IP addresses, right? We all know something about handshake. We all understand something about interoperability between the different platforms. So in Kenya at the moment, there's some good news, yeah? That now you can send money from Safaricom line to Airtel at lower cost. Is it true? Has anybody tried? Yeah, that's the thing. We all wait first to see if somebody can send you money from their own Airtel. I know some guys posting on WhatsApp and say, "This, I'm trying to send money to some Airtel and it's not working. Can somebody send money to my Airtel? I see if it is working." So reverse psychology. I think it's a good step. It's like opening the world, opening the world of business, so that you are not constrained simply because of the number you are using. Yeah. Sometimes, depending on where you are operating from, you prefer this line or the other. I will not talk about the political angles, but they are there, and they will say that you should be able to receive money either way. And not only in Kenya, they are saying beyond. Yeah. If you have a relative working in Sudan, they should be able to send you money without involving the bank so much. Just straight to your phone or to your mom's number and so on, without really having to walk to some money changer or bank for a transfer or conversion. Those are the things that we are saying are moving the world forward. So people refuse to agree, but at some point, you'll find that refusal to play will only reduce your business, and you become an enemy of the larger community. So you are forced to comply. But it is coming around. What are we doing individually to understand these technologies? When we were discussing the issue of data, and you said that the gentleman at the back, I think, said something like government should not have a right to the whole set of information about you as an individual, you know. But we find that most of the custodians of our data are already government agencies. Take an instance of here. We have the e-citizen. I think some of you have used the e-citizen, yeah? Which now, even if you do not want to give the information, you are forced to, right? Because when you go to Huduma Center to renew your driving license, they say what? Go online. You can't pay here. They have money. They say you can't pay here. Go online, you print something for yourself which you can attach to your driving license. Soon, there will be issues like the supermarket, you come with your money, they say, no. Bring your card. That's the time everybody rushing to buy Bitcoins. See everybody running to buy, to put money in the M-Pesa. You know, there are people now who don't use M-Pesa. You know that? There are people now who don't use M-Pesa at all. They only use M-Pesa when it's a matter of life and death. But if it's sending money to Shosho, they will take a bus. Give Shosho the cash, come back to Nairobi. You know, that is only feasible as long as your Shosho is where? In Kiambu or Nakuru, right? Yeah. That day you get a job in Ethiopia, you are done. You have to find a way of converting. So that is the reluctance that I talked about, and we do not need to belabor that. But alongside the protocols and all this conversation comes the issue of cyber security. And this is a question I'll pose to the forum in the next slide. The networks that are coming up, or that we are building, that all these organizations are building, do they incorporate incorporate public participation? Do they listen to the voices and ask what would you like to see? When we move from 3G to 4G, apart from the aspect of speed, were we asked anything else that is available within this spectrum? No. We are launching 5G, and I think in Nairobi there could be 5G already. Are we being told what else is built into this spectrum? So we only have that marketing line, which we all understand, faster internet. Then we can do our work much faster. What vulnerabilities come with this? What are we overriding to make the internet speed very high? There are obvious hurdles we are ignoring, right? There are obvious controls we are eliminating. Because if you're operating behind firewall, you and me know that there are times when your internet will just be slow. Yeah. If you're in the office, you can, and most of you in the universities know that. When you try to visit Facebook at 10 in the morning, what do you experience? Some slow stuff, yeah? Takes forever to load a single Facebook page. You've just clicked on one friend, it's not moving. But you try to do the same at 12:30. The thing will be loading at 1. So most of the universities have a quiet policy, and workplaces as well. They put in some controls. So you cannot go to social sites at certain hours of the day, just to enforce your own productivity. So, but we are saying in this network, that's a network that is provided by the university. It might look free, but you can only access when you are a student. So it's not entirely free. You have already paid for it in a way. So we are saying what controls are built in there, and how vulnerable are we in terms of attacks, cyber attacks. And when I talk of cyber attacks, we do not experience it in a large scale because our operations at a personal level may not be that big. But when you think of probably an election that is national, countrywide, when you think of a bank that is trying to transact with the millions of entries, we have seen our colleague, I think Rebecca, who posted the 60 second, the 60-second internet activity. People who are opening new accounts, people who are tweeting, people who are doing one thing or the other. So when you are such an organization, a cyber threat is a real situation. So we are saying bring this down to our personal levels. What are some of the threats that we face from day to day? And this is where I want to indulge your contribution, and it could be anything. If you mention open source, just tell us how relevant. And if you mention scalable networks, like the ones we are discussing, just tell us how. I need a spare mic as I take some break. 2 contributors. Who will go first? Resilient networks. These are recommendations. What can we do? What do you think? You are the future. We are discussing the internet of 2022. We are not able to change anything now, but your feedback will shape things. And I think you have seen the title of this conference, yeah? In your invite. Do you remember the title anyway? Or a friend told you, just come. We are going to nail up. I see somebody at the back. Is that Banis? Hi. How are you? Great. Mike, we have just your thoughts. Tell us. Okay, Banis wants to go first, and I will allow one other person. Anyone? Who was probably, if you don't speak, then I'll have to choose. I know people who have been quiet. Yes, Banis, give us your idea. You can touch on what we have on the sidebar or any other. You are free.
Okay, I'm Banis Kibet. I'm a network engineer by profession, and the issue of the resilient networks and scalable networks is part of my day-to-day activity. So with regards to resilient networks, we see the way the networks is evolving on a day-to-day basis. But what is coming in, or what needs to be done in order to improve the same? One is the issue of power consumption. The more we have strong networks, the more we have more usage in terms of the power consumption. So we need to come up with networks which use less power, which are more power efficient. At the same time, they are speed and fast. The second aspect is we need to educate people when it comes to the growth in technology, because with the techies or the people sitting on the policy space will discuss about the various kind of evolutions or the emerging tech that we are doing. But at the long run, it trickles down to the consumer. What is the perspective of the consumer when it comes to the use of the network? What does the consumer really need to find when it comes to enjoying the 5G technology? What is it about? So we need to do more, we need to build capacity building with regards to the consumers and ensure that what we are coming up is fully utilized, because there's no need of coming up with new tech every day and improving the speeds of the internet, and yet we are not getting down to the grassroots. So I think basically that's what we're doing here, getting to the grassroots. So I think it's the mandate of all of us to preach the gospel and ensure it reaches many. Thank you.
Excellent. A clap for her. Pass the mic to my friend at the second row at the end. Let her give us a high idea of open source. Yes. If you have heard of open source, yes. And start by telling us your nice name.
My name is Judith Ndigi. Come again, you asked?
I'm talking about open source. What is your idea of open source? Is it a good thing? Does it help us with the issue of resilience? Is it useful, or is a concept we should discard?
I think people should be given freedom. And then from now then, we can now discuss about responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably people should be allowed to play in this area, and that includes leveling the ground, yeah? So that we do not have dominant actors. It's, in other words, you said Judith, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, you agree that you should have more and more stakeholders playing in this field. I need one more lady to, next to Philip. At least I know Philip's name, I know Judy. Here, Philip is it Philip? The lady next to you, yeah. Yeah, open source or any other area you would like to touch on. Do you have an IT background? Okay, then just tell us something about this resilient network. You want us to go to 6G or we should stay in 3G? Give us your view.
I think we need something more powerful than 6G. So I'm in for the 6G thing. Yeah.
Okay. So that comes with a pinch of salt. You know that as we get faster, I said there are controls that we are sacrificing, yeah? So that we can move faster. Yeah. And you okay with that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. That means, thank you. Thanks, Antony, for that support. There's a view. Oh, we have two hands now. Maybe they can take 20 seconds each. Start.
It's good that we are going to the 4G, 5G, and 6G, but the problem is, like, for example, my university is in Taveta University. Currently, in Voi, we don't have full access of 4G. So I don't see a need of going to 6G, and other parts of the country are not even accessing 4G. I think it's up to the organizations to make sure that like 4G is accessible to all parts of the country, because before they move to getting other.
Yeah, I think, and your name is?
Legon.
Legon, yeah. Legon is for, let's move the other people along, yeah? So that we don't have others at Mombasa and the journey has not begun yet in Eldoret. Let's move others along, because all this is investment. Do we invest in the more recent technologies and the access, or we first move all those who are behind in terms of upgrade and then think of the new technologies? I don't know. That is Legon's view. Yes, Nadia.
I'm going to speak on this from a human rights defender's perspective. So I am a human rights educator and activist, and that's a very high risk kind of space to be in. And when you're talking about moving from one network to a faster, stronger network, and then you're talking about certain security features being, eliminated or compromised along the way, then it becomes a very high risk environment. So now the question then becomes, how do we move along but secure online spaces for activism?
It's a great thought, and that is what worries everyone. That's why this discussion is the in thing now, because those who are frequent users are thinking we can do better, and especially if you're in Kenya. In Africa, Kenya is seen to be ahead in many fronts, but we also know that Kenya is suffering a lot of fraud. We have a lot of people who are losing their money in Nairobi. We have a lot of people who come from Kenya. They are living in other countries, and their accounts are losing money, without their involvement. And so the issue that if you give us your name, you shout. I'll repeat. Joy knows you very well.
Awara yecho wawa.
Wawa. Everybody say Wawa. You won't forget her. Please, yeah, be my guest. Now, I think you can see where we are. The gentlemen, don't worry. Your own time is coming, so don't worry. I'm sure you're thinking, huh? Ladies only. No, your time is coming. So what we are doing is, getting you to move away from running on a platform and think of that platform. Are we together? Think of that platform. You know, the internet is like a road. You buy a car, hop in, you can drive on it. You buy a bike, you can ride on it. But what we as the internet community want our members to think about is that particular road. When we are doing it, do we do it with a one level of tar? Do we do it with a double level? Do we include sewer lines? Do we include other channels for water to get off? You get my point? Exactly. That is why we encourage our students to join the ITF, because that's the only place we'll be able to flag off some of these. And there's a lot of work that is currently going on. I will not bore you with too much of that. Rather, I'll take you to the next slide, which has got a few questions, which the gentleman will now answer for us. Social norms, things we learn about in our psychology classes or other places where we discuss behavior. Humans are always interacting, and we like to interact in a way that is controlled, right? When it is not controlled, you know, like the children, when they are just meeting, one will sweep the other one off the ground, break the other's tooth, and so on. But when you are grown up, you realize that you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you behave nicely. These are social norms. And I think somebody mentioned Wafike Wazazi, what is happening now. And, because I need, I don't know. But maybe you need to show some part of you that you feel is very, very excellent. And everybody must see. Maybe your bums, maybe your feet, and so on. So you take this and you put it online. And some of your friends like it. And they say, nice this, nice that. Is it what we want? Is it what you want to see running around our platform? These are social norms. And so there are three things that we want members to speak to. And I will invite you at liberty. Don't worry. It's a contribution, it's a conversation we are having. The way to learn is to speak your mind. Is that true? Right. So the first question maybe you will see there. On my sidebar, you will see the issues that we are tackling on this slide. We have online harassment, which we are familiar with. We have child protection issues. We have violence and hate propagation. You know, when you find somebody saying, insulting another one, you say, yes, serve them right or something. Are you propagating? Are you supporting? Are you castigating that person? And then the other one, which we say is Wazazi. So, is being too honest a sign of low intelligence? When you are very honest, does it mean you're a bit stupid or naive? I need an answer. I know you're shaking your head, but first I want a gentleman to respond. There are only very few gentlemen here. We have one. There's one I was looking at that side, but I'll come for you, my brother. Mike, or I think is it a Nelson? The mic went out. You can use this, huh?
Thank you for the opportunity. When I look at the screen, I feel this is the my area of expertise in what I actually do, and I love it. But I just don't know. I didn't understand what you mean by being too honest. Are you what kind of honest are you talking about?
Thanks for that. No, I mean, speaking the truth. You find people lying often, and they find that is the better thing to do, right? Okay. So I'm asking you. You can tell us no or a yes.
This is the culture that we have had. Even if people take pictures here, they will not post when they decide. They'll post beside. Why? Because they want people to love what is going on. They want people to love what is going on, what's on the bright side. Yeah? So it is two-way. Yeah? Sometimes people post things online that are not true, that augurs with their life, and that these other people will blend with what they really believe in. So sometimes they post online things, not exactly what is going on, but they feel that's what should be going on. I get it.
Yes. So what is your answer? Is it
my answer is
yes or no?
Let us differentiate. Sometimes Facebook was created for fun. Let us not.
So you're telling me it depends.
It depends. Sometimes it's fun. Facebook's fun. It's not for research.
Yeah.
People to mingle around. So it does not put a lot of pressure there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's your view. Can I hear there was a hand up here, and then I think there was another hand here and there. Is being too honest, you know? And I think he has opened up. If you search for me now, you will find Joel Okomoli, my proper names, surname and first name on Facebook, and you will maybe see stuff about me. Is that being stupid? Is that being somebody with low intelligence? Because the young people now, what they will do, if my name is Joe, I'll not say Joel, I'll say Joe or Josh. And then I will interact with my friends under that new identity. That is the dishonesty. Is it not? That's dishonest because you're not disclosing your true self, is it? Yeah, you're hiding something. If Felgona, was it Felgona or we had Bernice, if Bernice will open an account and she will not say Bernice properly with her name, she will just say Ban something, Bamoli, or something like that. And then she can now use that account to interact or even bully others. Is that not being dishonest? It is, because if she opens it with her genuine identity, she's very unlikely to go on.
My view on honesty, I think being too honest is not a sign of low intelligence, because when you're honest to yourself, it defines your true self. You're not living by what others think about you. You're living to what you feel is true, and
Yes.
you're not defined by what others will say. So I think honesty is a good thing because it defines who you are, and that is who you are.
So it's not a sign of low intelligence.
No.
Thank you. Nelson said it depends. I want to see another person who says it depends or probably something different. Go on.
Okay, I'd say being honest.
With your name first.
Florence Fundi. So being honest, especially online, is not a sign of weakness or something.
Okay.
It's not. It's a sign of, let me say, knowing, first of all, getting your own private victory. And then now, as you put it out there, it's like public victory. That's who you know you are. And I think by the time people realize that your online presence is like your avenue to getting your opportunities, like nowadays, very many employers will ask you for your social media handle.
Exactly.
And the moment you give a social media platform that has like half of your name, or I don't know, some weird name.
She hammered it.
Yeah.
You missed the job. And it's already happening. Now there are several hands up, but I will take two. Finally, there are gentlemen. Can I hear from the gentleman? That's a lady. Okay, let's hear Antony, start from here. Start from here. We have a gentleman at the back. Go on.
Okay.
5 seconds.
So I'm also going to say it depends, because we all have different perspectives to
Yes.
how we use the internet.
Yes.
So if the internet for me is a place where I create for myself another life, a digital life that's different from the one I'm physically living, then being too honest for me would be a sign of low intelligence, because I want maybe a hyper life that I don't have. But if for me, having a digital presence that reflects who I really am in real life, then being too honest for me would be a sign of low intelligence, because it will be aligning myself to who I am.
I need to get your name again.
Stella.
Stella. So Stella, you have 2 lives. How many lives do you have?
I'm saying.
No. Just answer me. You as a person,
Yeah,
you have 1 life.
Yes.
Digital or physical or both? Both of them, and it's 1 life. You have 2 in 1. Okay, let's hear from the gentleman. And we don't need to judge anyone, right? It is practice. It is happening. You know, even if you are not doing it, there are many people who are doing it. I know somebody who has 5 Facebook accounts. Ask me what for. 5 of them. Once you accept this one friend request, you will suddenly see again another, the same seller is with the same photo with another name and so on. Let's see answer.
Okay, for me, I think it depends. Because you can be able to use the social media account to either market yourself. That is, if you are under a certain profession, you can use the social media to market yourself positively. And then, let's say now you are doing some kind of dark business somewhere. You are trying to hide your identity. Let's say you are selling the you are selling smuggled phones or something.
Go on.
Okay, or something that is somehow legal, like let's say like drugs. Then you want people to access you more easily. Now there's a way that you will want to hide your identity so that you cannot be able to be identified. Then also you can be able to do something honestly. That let's say that you are somebody renowned, let's say you are an IT technician. Now you want people to know that you are good in some position. Now you have to market yourself positively and more honestly. Yeah.
So what do you do to the other account once you are happy and you are now working on a positive thing? Do you close the other account or what do you do to it?
No, that one someone can decide to be malicious. Let's say now somebody can access you somewhere, then you just drop the goods there, then you are paying something money that way. But the one which you are being honest, someone can be able to approach one-on-one and you give out the services which you want to give out. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I think the last one, maybe so that we can move on before the timekeepers begin. Yeah, go on. Your name?
Thank you. Purity.
Purity. Yeah, mic closer to your. Yes.
For me, it's a no. And for this bill, why do you need to hide anything? At all, what you're doing is legal and valid, and you have nothing to hide. In most cases in this world, when you go looking for jobs and employment, they'll want to know your social life and all that, and they probably will judge you from what you post. Yeah, we know social media is there for networking, making friends, but still, you should be very cautious with what you do it.
Thank you. So you can see we have a divided floor, right? And if we carry on, I'm sure Stella will give us another justification for this one or for the other one. And I'm saying that there's a reason for all the things that you do. But are we not on the same platform? We are. What would you like of your first acquaintance? Would you like to meet their true identity or their false identity? You'll be happy with their true identity, right? So why would you create a false identity for other people? That is what brings us to the next question. You know, how do I stop being a nice person? Because you create this false identity so that you can tell some few lies. Yeah, I can tell you now I'm recently appointed general manager, Kenya Ports Authority, and all this. I put it on Facebook, and I get a few friends who I can probably mislead in a way or the other, probably defraud. But if I'm not working at KPA, I will never dare do that with my proper identity. And the same, I think, falls across on the interaction. So how do I stop being a nice person and become more likable and interesting? I think the first step is honesty. But what else? What else can you do? Because probably we spend a lot of time trying to be just nice and so on. Antony, I have a hand there. I have 2 hands. Probably Stella will finish. Yeah, so that we can move on.
The first thing is for you to believe in yourself and sticking to what you do.
Believe in yourself. Go on.
And believing in what you do as something that is important and you feel other people can cling on it, so that you speak to integrity and whatever you want to do.
Excellent. Yeah. You mentioned 2 things, belief and integrity. And when the chips are all down, There are only a few things that you'll be left with. I don't want to summarize. We have Rebecca? Was it Rebecca?
The key thing I would emphasize is that people need to understand and to think of the future. Where do you see yourself in the future? Think of the digital footprints that you want to leave behind. It means that the internet does not really forget. You might post something today, and it's something that you did 20 years ago, and then or 20 years pass, and it's still there. People come to find it. So if you post anything, you should be sure that it's something you want your grandchildren and the future and other people to actually see, and you'll be confident with it. And also, another thing that people need to bear in mind is that in the future, your digital resume will say more about you than what you write on your CV. So if you think of those things, you'll be able to give a much more positive vibe about yourself, because you'll be thinking of not only now, but the future.
Look at the future. As you bring the mic to Stella, look at the future. We have something called headhunt. You know what headhunt is? And many employers are using a link for that. If you're within the agricultural sector, somebody is looking to employ, you find somebody reaching out to you and asking, would you be interested in this job? Would you be available to do some work for us, either as full-time or part-time? Who has had such a question? Maybe not. You need to wait for 40, yeah? But you have to start early. You have to start early. And there's no way you are getting there if you're not on LinkedIn. And to be on LinkedIn means you must be on social media. And to be on social media means what? A little belief in yourself. Just a little. Just a little. Because that is what will sell you. That is what will put you ahead of the others. During a headhunt, 5 of you will be approached. You'll all come with your beautiful resumes. But at the end of the day, they will look at the skill, then they will look at probably your experience, and then the next thing will be integrity. And that's where the little differences will come up, regardless. Still
just to sum up what
yes.
Saying, become what you want to be. Like, the reason why people create those false identities because they want to appear like they are making this in life. So instead of putting up an appearance, actually become that.
Yes, repeat the lie, repeat until it becomes a reality. Is that what you are saying? Okay, that is the approach that Stella is adopting. What are we adopting as persons? Lastly, what are some social life hacks that you can carry out? Social life hacks. You know, we are looking for success, yeah? Have you looked at profiles of successful people? Have you seen how their pages look like? Whether on LinkedIn, whether on, some of them are blocked even. You cannot be their friend because it is full. And I know some of my friends who do not even have 1,000 friends and they are already blocked. They look like my account is full, you know? So what are some of the hacks that you can perform? I know one of those is just to look around and something about reading biographies and looking at what successful people did in the past and probably begin to do it. But I don't want to send you to sleep. Who has another unique strategy? A social life hack. Don't tell us something about Ruby on Rails and those HTML. Eh? I know that's what you're good at. Still again, and we have Joy. Was your hand up? Yes. Okay. Okay, I will come to you. Let's start with Stella.
So something Rebecca taught us during our Zoom call. When you're on social media, use your words to post things that you believe in. So, like for example, if I'm on Twitter, my page, when someone goes to my page, my retweet, my tweet should be things I actually have a passion in. So, like for example, I'm interested in technology. So maybe my retweet should be about code, whatever is happening in the technology world, like that. So that's why when employers look at your social handles, they're actually looking at your interest, and that's what speaks a lot about your interest.
Exactly. Speak about yourself. If you are in the university, do not say that I'm just a student. I'm doing engineering. I'm doing an engineering course. Talk about your latest project. Put a snippet. Of course, not all of it. You don't have to tell us I'm in the university. No, not need for that. Just tell us what you are doing in that university. That is what is of interest to the public. Are we together? Yeah, because I've seen some people, you buy a new shoe, you start, put it there. You buy a new shirt, take a shot, put it there. Anything else? Anything else? Let's hear from Joy. I have to answer, but I think I'll take one. So those who are at the back, agree on one person.
I know we are speaking about social hacks.
Yes, yes.
We're speaking about social hacks, but soon we might have a legal hack to solve this integrity problem. Like there's a conversation about bringing in the rights to be forgotten. I think you heard about it.
Yes.
So I'd like to hear some comments about that, and I think people will be really interested to hear about that. So
maybe you say it again. Maybe they didn't hear you well.
We're talking about social hacks, but maybe soon we'll have a legal hack to these social issues like such, the integrity issues, such that, you did something in the past and then now it's coming back to haunt you. Now there's a new law that's being introduced, a new right called the right to be forgotten, or some countries call it the right to erasure. So
Yes.
like if you have data on the internet that, you did something 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's in direct relation to what, you remember what Rebecca had talked about, yeah? Before we get some response here, let's Adena had some contribution. Thank you.
On social life hacks, what I'd say is most of the people who've made it in life, when they started, not many people believed in them. So you might have a social platform where you post something that you believe in and you get 2 likes, maybe your mother and your best friend, or your relative, your closest relative, just making you feel nice. That should not be something that makes you give up on your dream. In order to make it, keep believing, keep pushing. Maybe that one day you'll get 4 likes. The 4th person will be your breakthrough for you to become that great person. So it's not the number of friends or followers or likes that you have on your social platform that determines how, not influential, but how viable you are or what you stand for is. It's actually how much you believe in it. And remember, all the successful people, at first, people thought they were crazy and no one wanted to follow them. So stick to what you believe in. At the end of it all, you'll be the one with the millions of followers after you've made it through.
Hello, I'm Black here. I would like to respond to what I guess that Joy.
Yeah, Joy Wadagi.
Yeah, he's talking about getting like. I really think we should do a little bit about like psychology and human behavior. I really don't really believe in like things that just ones and zeros and they just get the family reward in your brain. So basically, like trying to understand that like things like social media.
Speak to the mic. Speak to the mic. Yeah.
Trying to understand that things like social media, they just try to kind of make you get like a reward, the same reward you get with when you know you're about to eat, like the same thing. Not like okay, what I'm trying to say that we can try and learn more like how human body works, like more on the brain with the psychology part. It will really help a lot in terms of dealing in online issues.
Okay.
Like the same way kids are posting like obscene pictures, quote mode, online. Not that they're getting paid as per se, but they just want that one like which creates that reward.
What takes you to the next level? That's the point. I hope you got his drift, yeah? It's taking slowly, but it's taking progressively. You have to move slowly. Don't put, we say the end justifies the what? No, let's move slowly. We don't just look at the end. Let's move slowly because finally we'll get there. And, like you're saying, the motivation should not be, let's just start here, slowly. Let's hear the final comment from, I think, Vanessa. Yeah.
I think for me it should be associations. I think you need to associate with the people who you have kind of the same interests. Don't be the kind of person who just kind of accepts anyone's request, anyone's invite. You need to know what do you want, what kind of people do you want to associate with, because those people will take you to greater heights. So it's all about choices and all about the kind of associations you have.
Yeah, thanks for that. And While we move along, we have visitors with us. So we need some, yeah, there's a view just before, yeah, we want to hear from you. But while she's coming on, please, those at the back, can you squeeze a bit? Because we have friends from the media who need to take some nice shots. So these fellow chairs are not giving us a very good picture. If you don't mind, you can later go back to your seats, but let's just compress. Yeah. Let's compress so that we have a smaller view. This is very wide, and yet we have shallow spaces. Just squeeze if you don't mind. Excellent, excellent. And we welcome our friends. We have a lot of water. Please have a bottle as you do your job. Yeah, so just yeah, squeeze up so that we have nice shots as we continue with this okay. We still have on, I think somebody's coming back, yeah? Somebody went out. You want to contribute? Yeah, after Candy. Yeah, so Candy is sitting here, all right? Welcome, Candy. I hope it's about the legal hack or social hack, or both. You want to hear something about the legal hack, but go on, social hack, go on. No. Go on with the social hack.
I have one social hack that worked actually for me. Do what you like doing. Like, I really like writing a lot. So when I started writing, there's a friend of mine who used to refer to me as that girl who writes compositions online. But now I have a blog that's really popular, and I have like 2 part-time blogging jobs for some nice companies for the next 6 months. So do what you like doing and keep doing it. Doesn't matter what people say about you.
Exactly. Don't wait. There is no 1, 2, 3, go. Get started. Let's hear from you.
Mine is
social or legal? Excellent. Go on.
I think for me, they should propose that everything we post after sometimes it should be erased.
Speak to the mic a bit.
Because we are human beings. We mature at very certain ages. At 18, you're thinking of how I can take a pic and how I look in this dress. But at 25, at 30, you're thinking about other things that are important. So they should try to erase what should you do when you're 18. We are all human beings by the end of the day. So we are prone to make mistakes. We are prone to learn from those mistakes that we made. So why should the mistake I made at 18 hinder me from getting my future job at a...
And your name is? The sun has finally landed. Your name is?
My name is Florence.
Florence.
Yes.
I think you told me a second time now. Don't worry if I forget, because I'm filing the names. And at night now I'll be thinking Stella and marking the face and Florence. But she's suggesting we should have a law, and I think we should have that law. 5 years down the line, nobody should hold you a debt. Behind 5 years or 10 years. Say, like if I was married 18 years ago, I would be very happy, they wipe out. So once I write on social media, single, nobody will take me to any court, including my wife, to say, but we are married, because we are still living together. I said, that is 18 years ago. You need either to marry again or you just leave me to be single. So I don't know. There was a hand here, and I think there was one hand. Okay. Yeah, there's a hand there, but let's have the lady and then yourself.
Okay, Florence fully. So yeah, I get that.
Oh, we have 2 Florence. This is a hot zone for Florence Square. Go on.
It's a really interesting idea. I like it, but I feel like it will give people a leeway to really go out there and
disorder, yeah?
Yes.
Chaos.
It will like tell people, okay, you go ahead and do what you want. After 5 years, you can correct your mistake. But to what extent? Yeah, like before that is put into place, so much awareness needs to be created, especially to the young people. Like they need to be made aware. They need to it needs to be a personal decision, because I feel like it's been put into place as much as it's going to help people a lot. It might even increase the rate of, weird issues on the internet.
The youth should know, so they can
will encourage people. It will be like, you go ahead. After 5 years, you can make amends.
Okay, so you do what you have to do now. so that, 30 years down the line, you'll be fine. I need to hear from that gentleman that go on, Jen.
Okay. First of all, I totally oppose what she just said because I can see like she's against the right to be forgotten, which is what it looks like it's the conversation that's going around. Listen, if you were in Form 2 and you were suspended and the suspension is on your online portal, people are talking about it, it's on Facebook, so all future employees will always know. You're 50, you need a job, you have like 9 kids, so you want every single employer to just know it's one of the truant, they'll forever be a truant. That's what you're talking about. So the right to, it won't provide a
maybe.
Maybe.
That works if the part you want forgotten is negative. How about if it's positive?
What you want to be forgotten is positive.
Yes.
The right to be forgotten.
That right to be forgotten. Maybe you are a student leader, now you want to become an MP, and you did a good job at the university. Would you like that to come up, or you want it forgotten?
I believe if you want your data on the internet, you can place it there yourself.
Don't change the goalpost. Yes or no? Would you like it remembered or forgotten?
I wouldn't like it to be forgotten, but the right to be forgotten doesn't come into address positive issues. It comes into actually address the negative. That is
that
the
so?
point of, yes, it's true. That's actually the
Wilson,
point of the right to be forgotten.
I'd like to hear that from Wilson as well. I know there are enough lawyers here, but let me hear from the gentleman so that we can move on. The gentleman here, yes, this side. We are really getting wonderful photos. Please keep smiling.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Brandon. I think that the legal act is a very interesting perspective that should be explored much further and deeper because we have to look at the circumstances at hand. Nowadays, we have kids at Form 1 or Class 8 who are entering Facebook and all these social media platforms. There are people who are very much fallible, and human beings are all fallible. You find that they get heartbroken, they rush to Facebook because it's the only way they can seek, it's the only place they can seek solace and find consolation. So those are the things that such laws need to address. Yeah. And basically I'm for the idea that we should seek solutions legally, yeah, to address the problem.
Okay, excellent. We have an experience. I want the mic to come to her while it is coming, and she will be contributing. We have another slide, so we might have chance. But we start with the soft ground. Social hacks is easier to discuss. Yeah. Once we agree on that, probably we can look at the legal aspect because legal is binding, and somebody will just pull out something very small, and that will be enough to get you out of a community sitting. Go on, and I think you gave us the name. That is Wawa.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Go
on. So mine was actually on the legal side of things.
Yeah, please.
So first thing, know what your country's policies are on internet use because when the law becomes very vague, when saying something like using your device for destructive purposes, and destructive has not been defined, you don't know which kind of legal hole you'll find yourself in. So know the law so that you can know how to circumvent it when you're trying to protect yourself, especially when you know you've not done something wrong. Secondly, know your rights. There are 30 rights in the UDHR, and human rights activists will always emphasize. Know your rights, because your rights to use the internet are covered under those 30 articles, Article 19.
Excellent. I'm glad you're mentioning that. I was going to ask you, have you heard of Article 19? But please, we need you to come and talk to our members at some point again, yeah? About Article 19. That is very important. And thank you for bringing it up. Members, allow me to bring us to because this matter cannot be settled here. But it is good we are warm to this discussion, right? We know that some things happen because of our stage in life, and it can change. But we do not want these things coming up when you are ready for your professional, ascent. Is that so? We want those things forgotten. But how easy is it to forget? And that's why we must be aware of the things that we do. We have seen families posting their whole photos on Facebook and saying now in Mombasa, tomorrow we shall be in Malindi, cost to procedure. You've heard that, yeah? So you already have told your employer that you are not feeling well this week. You'll only come next week. And in your this other account, which they have found out, because you have two accounts. This one, you are not posting anything. This other one, which they have found out, you are posting course procedure. When you come back, you find what? A letter on your desk. You find a letter on your desk saying next time you fall sick, you need to be working where? Elsewhere. But that is for us to think about. And I think we are squarely on this slide, empowering people to shape their own future. And I think this is speaking directly to the young people. Internet society takes a lot of pride in hosting young people to think about what they would like to see tomorrow. Because we believe that tomorrow is not cast in stone, is it? Not at all. And civil society, internet society sometimes not considered completely civil. It's somewhere in between. Because sometimes we cooperate with government, we work with the ICT authority, we work with the communications authority. I think there was somebody who was supposed to be with us, but due to commitments, they're not with us. Sometimes we collaborate with the private organizations and so on. So we are somewhere in between, but we have civil society proper. We have human rights proper. Do you take an interest in what they do? Would you like to work with such organizations? And if you would, if your answer is yes, what would you like to see in terms of internet availability or accessibility? And I think that informs the youth agenda. So I will not ask you to respond. Instead, I will give us a punchline. I don't know how much more time I have. I could take responses if I have time. 5 minutes to finish? Okay. So what do you suggest? Do you have 1 or 2 responses? Yeah, that's fine. We have, I need to remember that name again. Yes, I think you didn't mention it earlier. Please, go on. And then we have Banis. Those 2, and then we wrap up.
So my response is on the future of internet and what we are speaking on resilient networks and how it's progressing. And I probably want to speak about 5G, and you mentioned about IoT. And for 5G, it's Internet of Skills. And how they structure it is how we're going to use this very fast internet to let people empower themselves, learn new skills. So for me, that's how I see us developing the internet to let everyone empower themselves with new skills, any skills that will be available. Like for me, if I'm so good in programming, I'll share it and then have a community where people can access and they can teach themselves. So that's how I see us modeling the future of the internet.
Excellent. Excellent. I think he's really shared our opinion. Yeah, most of us ascribe to that view. Yeah, you can. Doing it alone will not be very useful. Move in there. Yeah, Dennis.
I think I'll speak on the youth agenda.
Yeah.
I think for the young people, it's upon us to really get together and come up with decisions. We are the young generations. We are the future leaders of the internet. We really need to come up with different projects, different ideas, because I know we are creative and innovative in our own way, which will help in building the internet, making it more open, making it more accessible and affordable. I think the voice of the youth needs to be heard on the decision-making table, which is currently lacking. I'm sure you can ascertain that. So we really need to pull up our socks on that and be more innovative and let our voice be heard, because we are the change makers and the leaders of tomorrow.
Exactly. And I think when the issue of youth is mentioned, I think Joy highlighted earlier, we had a number of people who had fellowships to attend the last IGF. Yeah, I think we have 3 of them in this room, or how many? Exactly. And I'm sure when you reached Geneva, you did have a lot of stuff about your local chapters. But now you do. We collaborate with Tanzania so much, with Uganda, we're always in touch. And this is a first step. This is a first step. What we are saying is that we need a platform. And it's not offered to you willingly. You have to grab it. We are sending a memo to the MP. There's one MP that is representing youth. I think you know that. In the last parliament, he attended the least number of sessions. But we want to believe maybe he was talking to the youth out there. And this time we are saying that is not something we are not taking. We want that person to show up here and to show up in other forums, especially when we are hosting the youth. Is that so? I think that's something you can support, yeah? So we'll call on all the ISOC members, and I'm hoping all of us who are here. Thank you very much to Digital Grassroots for mobilizing this audience. But we are saying try also and be a member of Internet Society. It is free. Very soon we'll be talking. But it is free between now, at least I know between now and next week. So you can get your friends, to join in. And when you join, Antony will tell you that you need to specify. Once you are a member, you have to go to chapters and select a chapter and specify Kenyan chapter. If you don't like Kenyan chapter, you can specify Tanzania or Nigerian chapter. That is okay. The only thing is you'll miss on the Kenyan posts, you'll miss on the Kenyan events. We have events at least twice every month and mostly on weekends. So you can get time to attend. I must say that it's the only way we can reach out to so many people, because calling you individually and looking at your schedule is not possible. So the way is we hold a platform, which we call the Connected. But that's an interesting view from our two friends. And I was doing that to allow you time to read this story. I think you have read it, yeah? Oh, you didn't. You didn't have time to read it. Yeah? Let's call this dog Box. And you know, Box is standing 12 years. You know, a dog that is 12 years, how it is, yeah? It sleeps longer than usual. Even when we have an attack, it will be woken up. Hey, hey, we have people attacking, yeah? And then it will go to the gate. Wow, wow, wow. You know? But that bat will not be a small one. It will be a serious bat, right? So aging is not the problem. The problem is, how is the journey? How do we get there? And it is also a kind of warning, which we have had from Wawa. And I will try and get here. I realize you don't have a first name. Is it the practice with the laws to drop this as Joseph, John? Oh, you're not a lawyer. At least Wilson has, but anyway, let's leave that for another day. Okay, okay. You'll be glad to know that we have several lawyers among your staff, and we like you to introduce yourself so that you make some friends. You know, when I did double maths in the university, but you know, those days I thought double maths is the biggest thing in the world. Wait until I hit the job market. And I realized how to be smelling and eating chalk for about 8 months. That's when I realized it was a very useless course. Then I had to ship out and do other things. But nevertheless, whatever you are doing, it is good. But also find out what other people are doing. We are saying that this is a punchline for the youth. One day you will be 2 years older, 3 years, 4 years, and you'll not have this time that you have now. And the energy, you'll not be able to run up the stairs. You'll be crawling. And at that time, you'll not be able to do the things that you have so desired to do. I want to thank you all. And I think you can identify 2 or 3 languages there. Thank you very much. Merci. No. That one I think most of us know. Kongoi. Do you have any Kongoi in the house? Say yay. Kongoi say yay. They are quiet. They are afraid. I think those are the people with money. They have not lifted up their hands, but I know they are sitting somewhere there. We have to catch them after this, yeah? And then Yalama is my own mother tongue. Mungode is Nigerian to say thank you. And Asanteni Sana. Thank you very much for listening, and we meet again. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, let's appreciate him more. When he said youth engagement, I didn't think that's what you were going to do.